I was so interested in my research that I had a hard time waiting until the morning, just like a young child who spends the night finding it hard to fall asleep, wanting to get something because of all the excitement of what's going to come in the morning. Have you ever experienced the excitement of a young child from the novelty of observing and understanding something nobody has ever known? The sense of satisfaction coming from such experience allows researchers to spend long hours in the lab and continue their research, and also gives courage to get through hardships, in addition to serving as a driving force behind solving difficult principles or theoretical problems. Being able to overcome these difficulties and carry out successful research is an individual performance that deserves recognition. In addition, the knowledge shared by researchers provide great help, and it can become a bigger achievement because the research results derived contribute to the knowledge which will be shared again. Is it really possible that successful research can be achieved on its own? What are the factors that researchers need to know and do for conducting reliable and valuable research?
Research is about thinking deeply to solve a problem using systematic and scientific methods to prove existing knowledge or facts, or to refute existing facts or recognize theories. In addition, as the development of technology through research enhances the value of individual life, research can invest direct value to individuals and society, and the acquired knowledge through research itself serves as a valuable asset for finding new truth and predicting the future. Considering this aspect of research, instead of the actual output and size of the research results, the entire process of research must have integrity and responsibility in order to hold the true value. Researchers must form the virtue of trust on their research. In order to do so, they must be able to take responsibility of their research. In addition, researchers hold the obligation of conducting research that can contribute to society and mankind. We are well aware when researchers' research results are revealed to the research community and go through serious review process is when it is acknowledged as one's own legitimate achievement. Researchers believe that fellow researchers are careful in gathering information, conducting adequate analysis, and utilizing statistical techniques for deriving accurate research results. The results of such research which undergo these processes are respected by fellow researchers. Therefore, researchers must remember that fellow researchers trust in them and must only present research results that can be trusted. If scientific research results are not accurate, subsequent researchers who continue to conduct research based on the inaccurate results will not only waste time and resources, but the subsequent research itself cannot be valid. The irresponsible behavior of researchers delay research performance, lead research to the wrong direction, and serves as the cause for slowing down academic development. This is why researchers must take full responsibility for their own research. Irresponsible research will ultimately fail to achieve the goal, and therefore researchers must hold pride and responsibility in following research ethics. Together with research community, general society and responsibility for researchers is based on research honesty, fairness, objectivity, openness, etc., along with proper understanding and keeping important values of human duties and norms for desirable research will ultimately lead to the maturity of research. Traditionally, researchers were deemed as people who must hold a pure mind of curiosity, along with those who conducted research for their own intellectual satisfaction. However, due to the recent rapid increase of advanced science technology, the level of association between a particular research and society has increased greatly compared to the past. Thus, as the researcher conducts research within the boundary of society, the scope of responsibility transcends the individual, becoming a factor necessary from a social perspective. For instance, some research results, such as clinical demonstrations and zoology research, can directly affect public health and well-being. In relation to important problems such as climate change, stem cell research, and alleviation of natural disasters, researches can help politicians and voters make important decisions. Although current research, such as finding new knowledge of space and composition of objects, do not hold immediate effect on life, these knowledges eventually serve as the pathway for solving mankind's questions and future development. As modern-day research results have great influence on society, researchers must have an obligation to act in ways that contribute to society. So what is research ethics that are emphasized recently, and why is it needed? Research ethics refers to the principles and behavior modality maintained by the researcher when conducting research, thus signifying the securement of transparent process and truthful content for desirable conduct of research. This concept is not a narrow definition only applied to researchers in the field of science technology, but a concept applied to all academic fields. Then, what are some of the principles of research ethics that researchers must conform to? Let's take a look at the opinion of Resnick, an expert and one of America's leading research ethics experts. The first research ethic that researchers must follow is honesty. Data, research results, method and procedures, and publication status must all be reported honestly. No data must be forged or falsified. In addition, researchers must also be honest with colleagues, research sponsors, and the public. The second principle is objectivity. All aspects of research, including experiment design, data analysis and interpretation, colleague assessment, recruitment, research funding application, expert advice, and other aspects which need objectivity must work to avoid prejudice. In addition, factors that may influence research, such as personal or financial interests and relations, must be disclosed in advance. The third principle is integrity. Researchers must comply with agreements and contracts, acting with sincerity and working to practice consistency between thoughts and actions. The fourth principle is carefulness, which is required to avoid careless errors and mistakes. The researcher should be cautious and thorough in examining not only their own work, but the research content of his or her colleagues. All activities related to research, such as data gathering, research design, and communication with academic journals, should have accurate record keeping. The fifth principle is openness. Data, research results, ideas, tools, and research resources must be shared, and researchers must have an open attitude towards criticism and new ideas. The sixth principle is related to the respect for copyright and other types of intellectual property. Any unpublished data, research methods, or results must not be used without approval. All contributions related to research must be recognized. Lastly, plagiarism should never be conducted. The seventh principle is the confidentiality related to research, including funding related to thesis or publication, HR records, transaction, military confidential information, and patient records which require special caution and attention for confidentiality. The eighth principle is responsible publication. The purpose of publication is not simply for developing one's research career, but for the development of research and academic studies. Therefore, unnecessary publication or duplicate publication must be avoided. The ninth principle is responsible mentoring. Researchers must guide and advise students, along with providing mentoring and counseling. Researchers must also help in developing the welfare of students, guiding them to make decisions on their own. The 10th principle is to respect colleagues who participate in the research and provide them with fair treatment. The 11th principle is social responsibility, where research, public education, and supporting activities will promote social benefits and work to prevent social damage. The 12th principle is non-discrimination. Researchers must not discriminate colleagues or students based on non-related factors to scientific competency and sincerity, including gender, race, ethnic group, etc. 13th, researchers must continue a lifelong journey of education and learning in order to maintain and enhance professionalism while also putting continuous effort to enhance research competency. The 14th principle is legality. When conducting research, the related regulations, laws, and policies of the government must be acknowledged and complied. The 15th principle is to have caring heart for animals. When using animals for research, adequate respect and care is needed. Therefore, unnecessary or inadequately designed animal experiments must be avoided. The 16th principle is to minimize risks during research procedures targeting human subjects. During this process, benefits must be maximized and the dignity, privacy, and autonomy of human beings must be respected. In particular, special care must be given to vulnerable social groups, and the benefit and risks of research must be evenly distributed. We have examined the 16 principles of research ethics that researchers must follow. Then, what are the key areas emphasized in research ethics? The key areas highlighted in research ethics are divided into 5 categories. The first is maintaining integrity and objectivity during the entire course of conducting research. The research field in modern-day society is susceptible to misuse of research in order to obtain unjust benefits due to excessive competition. However, researchers must maintain integrity and objectivity during the entire course of research from planning, execution, result reporting, in addition to data gathering, analysis, and the final report. The second is ethics during the publication process. Paper publication is an essential criteria for being recognized as a researcher, and thus the regulations during the publication process must also be recognized in a serious manner. Honorary authorship refers to those who are indicated as authors even though no actual contributions have been made to research. The redundancy of publication without indication of source must also be eradicated. In addition, acts of presentation of thesis into different parts, along with presenting research performance without peer review, must also be avoided. The third is issues related to authority and discrimination within the lab. In relationships between guidance professors and graduate students, or research supervisors and researchers, issues related to sexual harassment, discrimination, and aggravation against women and minorities, along with unfair recruitment and treatment against researchers may occur. In addition, other matters, such as research funds and experiment materials, are susceptible to unjust distribution. There are also issues related to various uses of dangerous materials during experiment procedures, which are related to responsibility of safety management. In order to rectify these various problems that may occur due to misuse of authority and discrimination, the related individuals must recognize a coexisting human relationship along with forming a democratic communication culture. Moreover, individuals must propose methods of solving such problems, and if public interest disclosure occurs, a protection program for whistleblowers must be established. The fourth is related to research which includes particular subjects and methods. Thus, it is important to verify whether or not a certain research or experiment is scientifically valid and tolerated in a social and ethical sense. It is also important to verify whether it has been agreed upon by the subject based on sufficient information and if the experiment secures human dignity while protecting personal information. It is also crucial to verify whether or not sufficient protection and consideration has been made against testing animals. The fifth part is the social responsibility of researchers. The factors of social responsibility of researchers include verification of securement of public concern for researchers using public funds and whether or not the research fund was appropriately used for the appropriate purpose. The researcher must clarify the possibility of conflict of interests and also provide accurate information on the risks of technology to be used. Researchers must also think deeply about major issues related to his or her own research in relation to social issues, making responsible remarks and also stating independent advice. Here, professional witness refers to the facts that have been proven until the present point, along with other known facts. If facts have been proven, the related uncertainties must also be verified, along with the main topic of current research. In addition, must also find out the expected output of research upon investing effort and the level of research necessary to acquire the right amount of knowledge. These are all the traits necessary in relation to the competency of professional experts. Then, why do researchers need research ethics? The necessity of research ethics can be viewed in two main categories. The first is the development of science technology, and the second is the changes in research community regulations.
First, the development of advanced science and ICT now holds great influence in improving the way and quality of life in the 21st century. As public resources of research increased, interest and consideration of the ethical aspects of various research activities have received unprecedented attention. In particular, researchers from all over the world during the end of the 20th century have experienced serious issues, not only individually, but from a community and social perspective, due to research misconduct or fraud. This has served as an opportunity for people to recognize the right behavior of researchers and the importance of conducting responsible research. Second, in the past, researchers usually conducted research in individual forms. In modern day today, various research organizations transcending regions and nations work together. In addition, corporations also work together with the government and public organizations, which has led to various ethical issues that the researcher must take into consideration. Such changes in research environment has also enhanced the possibility of the occurrence of research ethical problems. First, the quantity-focused performance assessment, also known as publish or perish, has led to a trend of researchers being burdened with continuous publication of theses. This has led to researchers constantly being tempted by fraudulent acts of research. Second, the commercialization of research has led to researchers' expected external compensation over internal, thus lowering the standard of sense of ethics. Third, the increase of joint research has led to the specialization and segmentation of research, and when clear communication and monitoring is not conducted, factors related to fraudulent acts of research occurs. Conclusively, the research results of the present day cause serious influence over personal lives and the general society. The low research ethics of researchers, along with the increase of weak mentality, unable to reject the temptation of research misbehavior, and the unfavorable research environments, which cause the increase of fraudulent acts, have increased over time. This is why researchers are required to display a strict sense of ethical responsibility. In particular, Korea was under a fast race for development in various fields of society. As a result, While the scientific technology of Korea has placed fifth in global ranks among quantitative growth, it is a shame that the global rank of qualitative growth remains in 30th. In particular, regardless of the progress or means, we are still living in a culture where the strong sense of ethics and liberal regulations have not yet been established within the research community regarding correct method of research conduct, and in which only results are emphasized. In 2005, the stem cell paper manipulation by Hwang Woo-seok's research team caused great shock to both foreign and domestic, which is now recorded in history as a major research fraudulent case. The Hwang case has resulted in the fall of Korea's image as a research leading nation. However, as a nation that never considered research ethics, the event also served as an opportunity for people to gain interest in research ethics and also to put efforts to establish the concept of research ethics. The competitiveness of research is not only related to the individual, but also to the national brand and competitiveness. Even if an original and innovative research result has been presented, if such results are based on violation of research ethics, it not only causes damage to the researcher, but to the research community and trustworthiness of the nation. Therefore, the researcher, in all courses and procedures of his or her research, must conduct an honest and responsible research in order to gain trust from both colleagues and the society.
As seen from the advisory announced by the Research Ethics Establishment Promotion Committee after the Hwang case, any research that neglects sincerity and integrity cannot obtain truth and thus cannot contribute to the development of mankind and society. Therefore, in order to respond to difficult and complex issues related to research ethics, researchers must recognize the importance of ethics and also hold capabilities to conduct responsible research. Then, what is a responsible conduct of research? Responsible conduct of research is maintaining social and scientific responsibility as a professional by securing research integrity and ethics through conforming to the core values of research. If the research conducted is honest, accurate, objective, and efficient, it is heading towards the right direction of responsible research. If reported results are not honest and accurate, dishonorable in relation to financial issues, or if actions are related to biased opinions that influence research results, the entire research is heading towards the wrong direction. However, research cannot be regulated unlike legislation or medical practice. It is not a systematic work which can be regulated in detail. It is not easy to understand and practice details of responsible research conduct. The practice of responsible research is to follow the conscience of the researcher and the research guidelines in order to make the best possible choice within various research execution and publication situations confronted by the researcher. However, the responsible research guideline itself is not set and may change according to periodic situations or research environments, and therefore it is important to take caution not to fall behind change. In order to conduct responsible research, all stages of research, including design, execution, self-examination, and final reporting of results, must be followed by careful and proper thinking and action.
What results may occur from acts of research not applicable to research core principles and ethics? The researcher's honor and academic achievements will not only have stains, but will also cause serious damage to the overall research in terms of trust, while also causing damage to the health and welfare of beneficiaries, serving as an overall threat. In addition, the misconducts of research causes damage to not only the researcher, but to related research organizations and general research field. The media, politicians, and general public will have negative image on the research, which may lead to an overall negative perspective of the research.
In the society of researchers, where the importance of self-imposed control is emphasized, the appropriate application of these regulations must be based on an overall atmosphere. For instance, if it is deemed that a fellow researcher has violated research ethics, the overall environment must be able to warn these violations, establishing a social atmosphere where responsibility is emphasized. In university or research organizations, the misconduct of research or questionable research practice must be regulated and defined clearly, including the definition and scope of the concepts along with its consequences. In case illegal acts of research are suspected, methods such as direct conversations or conversations with trustworthy persons must be implemented. We have looked at the meaning, scope, and importance of research ethics along with the responsible conduct of research. What do you think is the meaning of research ethics to researchers? Many people believe that laws or ethics is a concept that controls the free actions of oneself. In the same aspect, many believe that research ethics intimidate the original and innovative research activities of researchers. Is this true? Let's take a look at driving habits of drivers. If the driver cannot recognize basic regulations to be kept during driving, has bad driving habits, does not wear seatbelts, speeds, or violates traffic on a constant basis, the probability of accidents increases. This causes damage to other drivers or pedestrians, including the driver himself, or may even cause death. If the driver has good driving habits, drives safely by conforming to traffic regulations, no dangerous situations will occur. Research ethics displays behavior norms or rules that researchers must know. As the driver requires safety belts and traffic regulations, in cases where the researcher is confused about whether something is right or wrong during the research process, research ethics provides a clear direction of research. Research ethics allows the researcher to conduct an honest, confident, and responsible research. As navigation became an essential item for drivers, research ethics serves as a GPS for research activities. Therefore, research ethics is not something that hinders research activities, but rather guides the liberal and responsible research of the individual.
Dear proud students who have chosen the career path of a researcher, has this helped you to understand research ethics and conduct responsible research? Responsible researchers are not made overnight. In order to achieve goals of your own research, great efforts and sacrifices must be made, including all-nighters and holidays. Researchers will often be seduced by the temptation to use convenient methods or temporary expedients deviating from principles in order to gain an upper hand in this excessively competitive society. However, remember to fight these temptations based on pride and dignity. If these ethics are practiced consistently, you will be able to become a respected and dignified researcher. Why don't we all take a happy journey into research with our trustworthy friend named Research Ethics?